Absolutely. Absolutely. She has some incredible songs on her website, barbarajhunt.com. And will move your soul, guaranteed. So we're going to start out today with the short, what I think of as one of the most powerful, most important lessons in a course in miracles. And I'm going to go through it rather quickly, mainly because I need it. I teach best what I most need to learn. And what I need to be reminded of right now is that I'm sustained by the love of God. Yes. And I'm going to read it, and I'm going to read it rather dramatically. Okay. I am sustained by the love of God. Okay, ready?
What page?
It's lesson 50 in the workbook. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God is the answer. Did it say, is the answer? Is the answer to every problem that will confront you today, tomorrow, and throughout time. In this world, you believe you are sustained by everything but God. Your faith is placed in the most trivial and insane symbols. What? Pills, money, protected, clothing, influence, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people, and an endless list of forms of nothingness that you endow with magical powers. Pills, money, protected clothing, influence, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people. All these things are your replacements for the love of God. All these things are cherished to ensure a body identification. Putting all of your faith in pills, money, protective clothing, influence, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people. All these things are cherished to ensure a body identification. All these things are songs of praise to your ego and fear. Do not put your faith in the worthless. It will not sustain you. Don't put your faith in the worthless. It will not sustain you. Only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. Only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. Only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. Only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. Only the love of the Creator will protect you in all circumstances. Only the love of the Creator, that means the Creator's love for you. It doesn't mean your love for the Creator. It means the Creator's love for you, not your love for the Creator. It will lift you out of every trial and raise you high above all the perceived dangers of this world into a climate of perfect peace and safety. The love of God will transport you into a state of mind that nothing can threaten, a state of mind that nothing can disturb, a state of mind where nothing can intrude upon the eternal calm of the child of God. Put not your faith in illusions. Put not your faith in false ideas. False ideas will fail you. Illusions will fail you. Put all your faith in the love of God within you. The love of God within you. The love of God within you is eternal. The love of God within you is changeless. The love of God within you is forever unfailing. The love of God within you is the answer to whatever confronts you today. Through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and ensure confidence. Through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and ensure confidence. Through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and ensure confidence. Through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and ensure confidence. Tell yourself this often today. It's a declaration of release from the belief in false ideas. Tell yourself this often today. It's a declaration of release from the belief in false ideas. Tell yourself, through the love of God within me, I can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort. Ensure confidence. It's your declaration of release from the belief in false ideas. It's your acknowledgement of the truth about yourself. Let this idea, I am sustained by the love of God, sink deep into your consciousness. I am sustained by the love of God. Let it sink deep into your consciousness. Repeat it. I say, think about it. I say, let related thoughts come to help you recognize this is true. You are sustained by the love of your Creator. I'll say, this is the truth. You are sustained by the love of the universe, the love of the universe. You are sustained by the love of the universe. The love of the universe is sustaining you. I am sustained by the love of God. Let related thoughts come to help you recognize its truth. Let related thoughts come to you to help you recognize its truth. Let related thoughts come to you to help you recognize this is true. Allow peace to flow over you like a blanket of protection. Let peace flow over you like a blanket of protection and surety. Let no idle and foolish thoughts enter to disturb your innocent mind. Don't let any foolish thoughts, idle thoughts, don't let any foolish or idle thoughts enter to disturb your innocent mind. Don't let any foolish thoughts, don't let any idle thoughts enter to disturb your innocent mind. That is the kingdom of heaven, that is the kingdom of love. Not letting any ego, fearful, angry, grievous thoughts enter to disturb your peace of mind is the kingdom of heaven. That is the resting place where your Creator has placed you forever. So let's say it now. I am sustained by the love of God. 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 We are 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 sustained by the love. What about you? You are sustained by the love of God. You are sustained by the love of God. You are sustained by the love of God. You are sustained by the love of God right now. How should a teacher of love spend their day? We're going to finish it up on page 41 of the teacher's manual. Page 41 in the teacher's manual, paragraph 7 is, I'm going to read the paragraph and say what it's saying, see what it is we need to remember to utilize to make it happen for us. How simply and how easily does time slip by for the teacher of love who has accepted God's protection? So this paragraph tells us the way you're going to spend the day, the once you connect with Source, the once you get rid of all the blocks between you and Source, then this is what the day is going to be like. And unless your day is this way, the Course is saying, you actually haven't connected with Source yet, really. And so it says, first of all, how simply and easily does time slip back for the teacher of God, which is the teacher of love, who has accepted God's protection. What does that mean? It means all you did before in the name of safety no longer interests you, because you are safe and you know you are safe. You know you have a guide who will not fail. You need make no distinctions among the problems you perceive, because the Holy Spirit, your higher self, your greater self, the God within you, to whom you turn with all of your problems, recognizes no order of difficulty in resolving your problems. You are as safe in the present as you were before the illusions were accepted into your mind, and so you will, and as you will be when you let the illusions go. There is no difference in your state at different times in different places, because they are all one to God. This is your safety. You have no need for more than this. So once I get my act together, I will not be doing a lot of different things to make myself safe. I won't even worry about that, because I know I'm protected and I know I'm safe. I know I'm safe because I have an inner guide that never fails. And I don't see any distinction among my problems, because I know that the one creator that solves all of those problems are in tune with me and with me. So it doesn't matter about the financial problem or the relationship problem or the career problem or the health problem, because I'm giving all my problems to the part of me that knows how to solve all of my problems. Now remember, I'm talking about how a person thinks who has connected with Source. I'm not talking about how a person thinks who has not made that connection yet. Okay, this is very important that you make that distinction. So if that terrifies you, that idea of letting go of your concern, then what that's telling you is that there's some work to be done as far as removing the blocks to your connection to Source. And that there's nothing more important than making that connection, because there are people who are not worried. There are people who are not concerned. There are people who feel safe. There are people who get up every day and do exactly what they want to do all day long until they go to bed at night. There are people who are not concerned about money, not concerned about their relationship, not concerned about their function, not concerned about their health. There are people who are so in tune with God that they just let the day go by easily and happily, and they know whatever they need to do is going to be presented to them that day for them to do. They know that whatever comes up, they can solve that or deal with that, because they're not dealing with it alone. And so they're not planning, because they're not afraid about what tomorrow is going to bring. So the Course is always teaching us the difference between the way a mind that's not afraid and that is completely centered in love operates, as well as how a mind operates that believes it's separate and afraid. It's not condemning either mind. It's just teaching us the difference between when you're really connected and when you're not, so you can remove the blocks that keep you from being connected. So readiness is not mastery. Just because I'm ready to be in tune with Spirit, just because I'm ready to open up to a higher way, does not mean I've mastered how to do it. Just because I say I'm ready to learn how to fly a plane and I go to my first pilot class, I don't beat myself up because the first day of instruction I can't do a solo flight. So just because we're hearing about the way we will be when we allow our minds to be healed, that doesn't mean we should be beating ourselves up because we can't do this level of faith today. Everybody clear about that? Okay, so I love this line where he says there's no difference in your state at different times in different places, because you know all your states are one to God. It doesn't matter where you are. That's the thing I loved when I went over to London. I drew just as loving people to me over there as I drew here. You know, your consciousness is going to determine what happens to you no matter where you are. So it was good to know that whatever's in my consciousness attracted the same kind of loving energy there as it did here. And the same thing happened when I went to Amsterdam and other places. So you are going to meet you everywhere you go. So if your consciousness is a loving consciousness and you're in touch with the truth for yourself, that's the best protection you can have. That protection is better than any police department will ever be able to protect you. Your consciousness is the thing that protects you, not anything outside of yourself. So there's nothing more important than having a loving consciousness. Any questions about that paragraph? Any clarification about anything in that paragraph or anything I just said? Everybody clear about that? So what would be one of the things that you would probably notice about yourself once you were really clear that you were connected to Source? What is one of the first things you would stop doing?
Worrying.
Worrying, what else?
Worrying. Being afraid.
Being afraid. I love how the Course in Miracles says that fear just means you're dependent on your own strength. So whenever you feel fear, it means you are dependent on you, separate from God. So instead of saying I feel afraid, it would be good for me to say right now I'm dependent on myself separate from source. I'm feeling the feeling of not dependent on my source. Okay. Most people would say they believe in a higher power, but most people don't live like they do. I could probably talk to most everybody on this street, they probably say they believe in some kind of higher power. But if you just looked at the way that we live, it would be obvious that that's not true. Because we still think we have to do it on our own a lot of times. That it's up to me to figure out how to take care of my, especially in the area of relationships and things like that. The Course in Miracles says that certain people have been assigned to you to help you wake up to who you really are, and they will begin to look for you as soon as you decide to be happy and you're ready to wake up. So the whole thing of trying to go out and get somebody in a relationship is something you wouldn't do once you awaken, because you know whoever you need would be sent to you. They would show up, you know. And if it's love, then you're going to want to join with it without reservation. I love that. It says if it's love, you want to join with it without reservation. You're not holding back at all. So the more love is involved, the more you want to open up. The more fear is involved, the more you want to contract. So if it's true love, you can still feel anger and then still want to be open. You can be upset and go, I still want to be open. You can be afraid and go, I really want to go beyond my fear right now. I don't want to stay stuck in that. You see what I'm saying? So even when you're afraid, if love is involved, you still want to keep moving toward openness. All right. Anybody hear a statement that they don't want to forget, that they don't mind saying out loud so that they can remember? One thing I don't want to forget is,
I have a guide who will not fail.
I have a guide who will not fail. Thank you, Doug. Anybody else?
There is no difference in his state at different times and different places because they are all one to God.
There are no difference in your state in different times and different places because you know they're all one to God, your Creator. Anything else in anybody here that they want to remember?
I want to remain open.
You want to remain open. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. When you're most afraid.
It's God's love for me, not my love of Him.
Right. God's love for me is sustaining me, not my love for the Creator. When people hear stuff like I am sustained by the love of God, the temptation is to think you're sustained because you love God. The Course says God doesn't have an ego to accept your praise. God isn't insecure. That which created us doesn't need us to go, I love you, God. I love you. You're so important to me. That's only people who are afraid need constant reassurance at that level. But it's the Creator's love for us that's going to sustain us. I love that idea. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph then. I love this. There will be. Did it say there will be? Yes. Then that means what? There will be. Okay, there will be what? Temptations. My girl. There will be
Go ahead and sing the whole thing.
Talking about my girl. My girl. There will be temptations along the way the teacher of love has yet to travel. That means you have need of reminding yourself throughout the day of your protection. I like to read the Course like it's talking to me. Then it says, how can you do this? How can you remind yourself throughout the day of your protection? He says, particularly during the time when your mind is preoccupied with external things. How can you remind yourself of the truth when you're preoccupied with external things? The Course says, you can but try. What? Try. How do you remind yourself of your protection throughout the day? Try. It's just so simple. Oh, then it says, I love this now, get this. It says your success depends on your conviction that you will succeed. Mm-hmm. Then it says, you must be sure. Now, first it says, I love this. It says your success depends on your conviction that you will succeed. And then in the very next sentence it says, you must be sure success is not of you. So first the Spirit tells me that I have to realize my success depends on my conviction, but my success does not come of me. The success will be given me at any time, in any place, in any circumstance I call for it. So let me get that straight. Okay, I must be sure that my success comes from my conviction, but it's not conviction in me. It's the conviction that that which created me will give it to me whenever I need it. So the Course is saying that our faith should be in the Creator giving us what we need in any situation. Our faith is not in us being able to supply ourselves with everything we think we need all the time. So this conviction is not conviction in your ability to do it by yourself. The conviction is in your belief that it can be given to you when you ask for it.
Oh.
See the difference? See, what makes the Course in Miracles challenging, I believe, is that it actually acts like we didn't create ourselves. It actually acts like we really have an infinite intelligence that created us. It actually has the audacity to act like God, not a man in the sky, with superpowers, exists. So it talks to us that way. So the part of me that doesn't really get that, it has a hard time sometimes dealing with the Course in Miracles, because I'm used to truth books always telling me how to do things better on my own. So I go to classes trying to hear what it is more I need to do on my own. It's frightening to my ego to come to a class that's talking to me like the Creator exists. You follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think sometimes the enthusiasm doesn't happen, because we're being asked to believe in something we don't see. Where if I was talking to you about something that you could do on your own by yourself, the temptation would be to be more excited about it. But when I say stuff like, okay, your conviction should be that your Creator will give you the success that you need whenever you ask for it, is not a big turn on to the ego. Anybody noticed?
Yeah.
Right.
Then it goes on to say, there are times your certainty will waver.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time you're beating yourself up because you have doubt, you were told you were going to have doubt from time to time. Then it goes on and says, the instant your certainty wavers, you will return to earlier attempts to place reliance on yourself alone. So as soon as you lose your faith, you're going to go right back to, I'm going to rely on myself alone. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to handle this on my own. As soon as you go there, you know you're full of doubt. That actually isn't coming from a sense of I'm certain. That's actually coming from a sense I am not certain. That's why I'm trying to rely on myself alone, because I'm not certain that my Creator is with me and that I have that help. So all of that, I'm going to do it on my own, is what a person says who has no faith in a greater power than themselves. That's not what a person says who has faith. That's actually what a person says who doesn't and who's innocent. So I'm not condemning you if you do that, because we are trying to achieve a state of consciousness that we do have that faith. So it's not about beating ourselves up if we're not doing it all the time. We were just told our certainty is going to waver from time to time, because we're learning how to trust again. Okay? Then it goes on to say, but the Course in Miracles says, forget not that placing reliance on yourself alone is magic. So the Course calls it magic. What is magic? Believing something that's happening that's not really happening, that's not really true. So every time we think we're taking care of ourselves, we are magicians. So most of us are magicians. The Course calls us magicians. We think the money is taking care of us, and we think the pill is taking care of us, and we think who we know is taking care of us, and we think in our education. He says those are all magical ideas. That's us thinking that anything other than our source is really sustaining us. The Course calls that magic. Not bad, not sin, just magic. And I personally have been the David Copperfield of spirituality. I've had such belief in my magical abilities to create on my own. Any other magicians in the house?
Yeah.
All right, okay. You ever sawed your heart in half?
Yeah. More pieces than that.
More pieces than that.
Watch it in there.
Just watch it in there. Would anybody care to, would man give me some water?
Oh my.
I thought I had done it. Thank you, darling. See, I asked, I had conviction. He says, magic is a sorry substitute for true assistance. It's not good enough for you, God's teacher, because it's not good enough for you, God's creation. So let's hear what the main point was in that paragraph, and let's see if we can remember what it is. First of all, give yourself a break. There will be temptations along the way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
There will be temptations along the way. So what do I do? Well, I need to remind myself throughout the day that I have protection, that I'm not alone. How do I do that? I try. How do I succeed? I succeed by recognizing that my success doesn't come from me. My success comes from God. And it will, I love this, and it will be given. Notice the word was given me in any time, place, or circumstance I ask. Didn't say earned. I didn't see anywhere in the way it said earned because you're good enough, earned because you're spiritual enough, earned because you meditated enough, earned because you read enough books. It said whenever you ask for it, thank you, baby. Whenever you ask for it, it will be what?
Given.
Did it also say that there would be times when our certainty wavers? How can you tell when you back up to your old tricks of magicianship again? Who can tell me? How will you know?
Self-reliance.
Self-reliance. Immediately you start going, well, let me figure out how I'm going to do this on my own. Do y'all have some things right now you're trying to do on your own?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's usually the area that's not working. Isn't that interesting? That's usually the area that's not working, that the person is most self-reliant. Then the course says after that, what does the course call it when you're trying to place reliance on yourself alone? Magic, right? And he says magic is a sorry substitute for truest. God could be helping me. Source could be guiding me. But I want to rely on myself alone without any knowledge of really what's going on. He says that's a sorry substitute for what you really could be receiving right now. Okay, he says that's not good enough for you. You're too good for that. Okay, any questions about that or comments about that paragraph or anything you'd like to say out loud to remember it better? Okay.
I'm always puzzled by the fine line between God's sustaining me and my necessity to pay my bills.
Right, but that's what the course was just saying, that you are sustained by the love of God, so therefore you would be given what you need to stay.
But that doesn't mean I can just sit at home and work in my garden and my bills are going to get paid.
You could if you've had faith.
Oh.
If you had faith, you could sit in your garden and your bills would be paid. There are people who've never worked a day in their life and their bills get paid.
Wow.
Don't you know that?
You're talking about politicians?
We're talking about that the trick is to believe that you will not be sustained unless you do it on your own.
But you have to do.
You have to do something. As long as you don't have faith, you do have to work.
I can't say that I'm doing it, but really the results are coming from God.
Listen to me. Listen
Okay.
to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. I would advise anyone to get up every day and go to work who believes that they're not connected with Source and that Source will sustain them. You don't have a choice. If I don't know I'm sustained by the love of God, I need to go get a job. Because I believe in relying on myself alone. My reality reflects my consciousness. My reality reflects my belief system. And if my belief system says I need to get up and work 40 hours a week in order for me to receive money, then I need to go get up and work 40 hours a week so I can receive money. But don't trick yourself into believing it has to be that way just because society has taught you that and because you're teaching yourself that. You want to open your mind up to the idea that you could be given what you need to stay. That's the whole point of studying this stuff, is so that we'll go from the way we were taught to another level of consciousness. But in the meantime, you best work with your belief system. And if you obviously believe that you need to go out and work, then you better go out and work while learning that you're sustained by the love of God, learning how to let go of all the beliefs that teach you that you can't be given what you need to stay until you get to the point you know you're sustained and you're not going to worry about it. So there's no conflict. As long as I don't believe it, I need to go do what's necessary. But while I'm doing that, I need to be working on my consciousness, making my connection with Source so that I know I'll always be sustained.
Well, do you believe it?
I am learning and accepting it more and more. I've lived 25 years teaching that most people have never heard of, who think it's weird, those who have.
Good job, Ryan.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm an extreme example for everybody that comes to my class. I've been living for 25 years teaching A Course in Miracles on a love offering basis, and most people have never even heard of the book. Even people who say that they want to study it, most of them don't, right? And have a lot of resistance, the ones who say they love it. But all I know is the ones that I decided that that was my function, and that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to work on, I'm sustained by the love of God. Then I noticed more and more and more whatever I needed was given me to stay. I am not completely that way yet.
Because you come here, and this is work.
No,
and-
not to me. See, that's your perception of it.
Okay.
That's not my perception of it. My perception of it is I'm coming here doing something that I absolutely, totally love with all my heart, and that it's my function. It's what is reminding me of the truth of what I am, and whether I come here or not, I still receive what I need to stay. Have you heard of Colorado winters? There's a lot of times that my classes get canceled. There's a lot of times that I can't come and teach my class. And I've seen the Holy Spirit provide for me in other ways. Ways that I couldn't even describe to you. Didn't even make any sense. Yeah, a perfect example. One time I was, for about 4 weekends in a row, it snowed on Thursdays and Sundays. And I was not able to do my classes. And I have bills just like everybody else has. The exact amount of income that I needed came to me through other sources. That in unexpected ways. That's happened because I don't see myself as being sustained by this class. I see this class as being a channel for God's substance, and I'm very grateful to the people who come to the class who are willing to share, because that's also a cooperative venture between them and God. And they may be getting some inkling of the fact of giving and receiving is the same, and how you receive is through giving. So it's especially where you feel like you're being helped and you're being inspired. So it's not like people are giving something to me that I don't deserve out of charity. I'm sharing. I'm fulfilling my function. But I know that you are not taking care of me. I never know who's going to come to my class from week to week. I can't say, well, this person's going to come, so I know I got this amount of income coming in this month. Don't work that way. What's consistent is that I focus on this every single day, do everything I can to remove the blocks to my awareness that I'm sustained by God. And the more I let go of my grievances and the more I see God as my source, the more that I see I'm sustained. Does my certainty waver? Yes. Sometimes I have fears just like anyone else, but I have to remind myself that that means what? I'm relying on my own strength separate from God right now. So I apply the truth to my own ego, and believe me, anybody that knows me knows I got one. Okay, I wouldn't be teaching if my ego wasn't humongous. Why you think I'm teaching? I was the biggest ego in the room, right? So what I'm saying to you, darling, is that you really can be sustained by God, but it takes effort. It takes a willingness to study. It takes a willingness to look at your shadow. It takes a willingness to understand that everything that's happening to you is happening to you because of the way you think. And so as long as you keep thinking like that, then your reality is going to reflect that back to you, and then you'll have to work at a job you don't like, you know. So just remember that you can be given what you need to stay, but it takes a willingness to learn a new way of looking at things, and a willingness to let go of the blocks that keep you from being able to know that connection. So yes.
And progress, not perfection.
Right, so I said readiness is, I'm glad you asked that, because that's
to make it, you know,
well, readiness is a mastery.
Incorporated
you know?
in my life, but I
Right.
still got things shit.
Well, what I'm saying is try not to recognize that every time you say, I have to do this myself, you are relying on yourself alone. And when you do that, you end up having to look like you're doing it on your own. And then you go, well, why aren't people helping me? Well, you believe you have to do it on your own. So the universe reflects that back to you, and no one supports you. And you end up doing it on your own. That's why I love it when people go, well, I got to go, I want to do this on my own. And then they're mad because they think no one's supporting them. But you've already said you want to do it on your own. The universe is just supporting you doing it on your own.
Thank you.
You follow what I'm saying? So just keep in mind that whatever the physical experience you're having right now is a reflection of the beliefs that you've already accepted as true. And if you want to get a different reality, you got to give yourself a different set of beliefs. And just like you got the old beliefs through repetition and then seeing the old beliefs manifest, you'll also see the new beliefs manifest, but they also must be repeated. That's why I see my classes more as, let's get together on Sunday and remember the truth together. So that we can reinforce these ideas, because you're not going to hear it on the 5:30 p.m. news, and you're not going to see it in the Denver Post. And most of your friends and relatives are not going to say stuff like this. So if we're not proactive about our awakening, if we're not proactive about our self-realization, we won't hear any truth if we're not proactive at first. But as soon as you start to accept it, the beautiful part is you start drawing more and more people to you that's reinforcing it and sharing it with you. And before you know it, everyone in your personal world, they're sharing very conscious thoughts and ideas with you. That's the world I live in. It didn't start out that way, but every single one of the people in my intimate circle that I'm connected with, I could talk about this with, or they could talk to me about something similar, even if they're in another path. They're all trying to be conscious. They're all trying to be loving. They're all trying to accept responsibility for their experience. They're all trying to forgive. They're all trying to party like a big dog. That's my circle. You know, they want to love. But that wasn't like that at first. So the easiest way to change your mind is to put yourself around people who are trying to change their mind and who also want to move in the direction you're going in. The slowest way is to say, I want to change my mind, and keep hanging out with people who are only talking victim consciousness. And remember, your level of consciousness is not determined by how you are when you feel peaceful. Your level of consciousness is determined by what you do when you're upset.
Yeah.
Most people can be cool as long as everything's going the way they think they want it. That's no big deal. When you really want to see what a person's level of consciousness is like, look at how they handle stress. Look at how they handle upset. Look at how they handle anger. Do they go to their teaching, or do they default and act just like anybody else in the world acts? Pure projection, pure blame, pure attack, taking no responsibility, saying everybody else is responsible. So pay attention to how you respond to upset if you want to know what you really accepted as true versus what you think you've accepted as true. That's where you'll find your own level of consciousness revealed. Isn't that cool? So the last time you got upset, how did you handle it? Did you go into a full-fledged attack? Or did you say to yourself, what is it within me that needs to be changed? What is it I need to take a look at in myself? What's in my own mind that's creating this? I created this? Or are you immediately going, it's the economy? See, just like a minute ago, when you defaulted back to, well, you just got to go out and you just can't sit around and do nothing. See, that was letting you know what your core belief is. Not that you're guilty. You see what I'm saying? So you went, oh, okay, I just defaulted back to relying on myself alone, thinking it's only me, believing that I do have to work my butt off every day in order for me to have money. Okay, that's what my reality is reflecting, because that's what I've accepted as true. The Course says the so-called negative or ego stuff seems to manifest quicker than the spiritual or loving stuff for one simple reason. We immediately agree with the ego stuff. People can't be trusted. The world is a bad place to be. You have to work really. So we go, yeah, that's right. Bam, manifest. Because we're totally in agreement with it, so it manifests. But if I say to you, you deserve to have it given. You deserve to be given what you need to stay. You deserve to have nothing but unlimited abundance and prosperity and love. And we go, I don't know. See, we're not going into agreement with that, so it takes longer. But if I say, you're not enough, yeah, that's true, I'm just not good enough. See what I'm saying? Bam! Manifestation of your lack of value. So remember, it takes two to make a decision. You either make a decision with the love in you, or you make a decision with the fear in you. And whichever one you side with is the physical experience you will see. So you can tell what part of your mind you're siding with by the physical life you see yourself as having right now. And that gets you out of denial. Isn't that great? That all I have to do is look at my life to know what I'm thinking. And all I have to do is look at my life to know what I'm secretly thinking. Now, that's important. Secretly thinking. Not what I'm consciously thinking. It's what I'm secretly thinking. So I can say I'm the coolest guy in the world, but if I'm in a world that everybody's telling me I suck, and something's wrong with me, and I'm not good enough, and everybody's attacking me, then I know I have some secret attack, lack, fear thoughts toward myself. And so instead of trying to change them, I would be saying, how can I let go of those thoughts that are in my own mind that's producing this attack that I'm seeing in my outer world every day? That's what a conscious person does. An unconscious person goes, how can I change my mama? How can I change my boyfriend? How can I change my girlfriend? How can I change my boss? How can I change my friends? How can I get them to act like I want them to act? Unconscious, 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 unconscious. Not bad, not sinful, just asleep. Conscious being going, my God, I had the worst day in the world. What is it within myself that I need to change in my mind to allow more love to come through me and into my life? What is it I'm not learning about myself? What is it I need to see more about myself? What is it I need to admit more about myself? What's going on that I need to take a look at because I had the worst day ever at work today? What is it within myself needs to change? That's the way an awake being deals with a bad day. The person who's not is going to say, I need to leave this job. I need to get another job where people treat me better. They don't realize that they are just changing movie theaters, but they playing the same movie. That's just what you're getting ready to do. New movie theater, but the same movie. You see what I mean? So 6 months on the new job, you go talk to them, they're going to be complaining exactly the way they did on the other job. And you all know that you've done it, I've done it, and you know people have done it. You move to a new city. If you don't change your mind when you move to the new city within 6 months of being in that new city, you're going to feel the same way you did about the old one. You get about a 4 or 5, 6 month little break where you could really let it be new if you really wanted to, because for a while you really do believe it's a new situation, and it could be a new situation. But if you don't change your mind, you're going to reproduce the same situation within 6 months in the new place. But sometimes changing jobs and people and situation is good if you really change your mind.
Right.
But not if you think that just by changing them, that's all you need to do to make it okay. You're going to find out they're going to turn. I always say I've only had one woman my whole life. You're talking about monogamy. I've only had one woman my whole life who had many different bodies. And they tend to be just like plants. They have to be repotted. They go as far as they can go. And then sometimes it needs another level of feminine that can handle me. And then someone new shows up who's ready to handle me at a brand new level. But it's basically the same things that I have to learn, that I have to deal with, that I have to work on in myself. You've only had one man or one woman in your life. They just changed form. Check it out. And you'll see it's the truth. That you had to deal with the same thing with them that you had to deal with the other person. But hopefully you're evolving, so they're also evolving. And that simply means you are meeting more and more people that you're forming intimate relationships with who do what? Take responsibility for their experience. That's how you can tell when you're evolving. You'll be around more and more people who take responsibility for their experience instead of projecting what they're going through on you.
So if I say, or ask, how do I remove the obstacles to my thinking that have created this mirror in my life that I'm unhappy with?
Right.
Is that an example of how you often say living in the question?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You want to live in the question. What would it take for me to have a relationship that would be totally peaceful in ways beyond my wildest imagination through the Holy Spirit? What would it take for the kind of income, prosperity, abundance that I think I deserve to show up in my life in ways beyond my wildest imagination? You always want to say beyond your wildest imagination. Yeah. You know why? So that it can come in ways you didn't think of. Wanting it to come in ways you think of slows your manifestations down. Having a willingness that it comes in the way that's easiest and best speeds it up, which may not have anything to do with how you think it should happen. You follow me? So you always want to go in ways, ask for what you want, say I want it in ways beyond my wildest imagination. Then you want it to come through love. You want it to come through spirit. So I always go, through the Holy Spirit. It's what I've learned from the Course. And then I've learned through the Course, if I make no decisions by myself, that means if I make no decisions without checking in with a higher source, then the peace that I'm looking for can be given me. So, see, the answers to everything we're going through have already been given us. The challenge with us, because we all have egos, is that we simply won't pick up a book. We won't go to a workshop. We won't go to it. You see what I'm saying? It's like the answers are all around us. We have the internet. Do you understand that? We can sit at a computer and ask practically any question about anything, and within 10 seconds you get thousands of replies. That's the thing I like about with my computer. If I have a problem with it, all I do is just say exactly what I think the problem is. It says my installer is malfunctioning, and just Google it. And then poof, everybody that's ever had that problem pops up on my screen, and the answers that they got shows up. If that's not a psychic indication that we are on another level of consciousness, that we could all tap into the truth more directly and instantaneously, I don't know what we need as a hint, because the outer is a reflection of the inner. The physical is a reflection of the mental. So if we're in a world that we can be in instantaneous communication with each other all the time because we got a little cell phone in our hip, it means we can be in instantaneous communication with each other all the time through telepathy and every other way. The Course calls psychic communication natural communication. I thought that was interesting too. It's like, we think he said psychic power. It's not psychic, you're just being more natural. It's one mind, and now you know what's going on in it. It's just one mind. What's strange about you knowing what's going on in your mind? You just don't see it as your mind. You see it as somebody else's mind. And since you see it as somebody else's mind, you can't recognize what it's thinking. But the minute you let go of the idea that we're separate, psychic ability increases, because now your communication is more natural, because you know it's just your mind communicating with your mind. We make it so much harder than it has to be, because we don't love ourselves, so therefore we don't think we deserve to have peace and joy, so we don't let stuff come to us easy. And so if you want to struggle, it'll be there. But I don't believe people come to this class who still want to struggle anymore. I believe that people who come to this class have finally reached the point they think they deserve to be loved. And you do deserve to be loved.
Yes.
So would you acknowledge yourself, Holy Spirit? Whoa! Whoa. We're going to do the financial expression of appreciation right now. Thank you so much for sharing with me. And then Barbara's going to do one more song before we leave. And I want to tell you, I appreciate every single thing you share with me, and that I bless you. And the Course says a very interesting thing. It says it can be only your gratitude that you earn. And I thought that was interesting. So when something great happens to you, say, it can be but my gratitude I earn. Why? Because you were the one that allowed it to happen. Yeah. So therefore you should be grateful to yourself. Spirit was willing to give it to you all the time, but you weren't willing to have it yet. So the point that you start letting the cool stuff happen to you, then you should be grateful to you, because you finally let something cool happen to you. Spirit is doing it all the time. It's not about gratitude to Spirit is good, but make sure you show gratitude to yourself, because you finally let something cool happen to you. Isn't that a trip? All right, so we're gonna so Barbara, you come up and you get set up, and then we're gonna do that, and then Sheila's gonna make a quick announcement right at the end of the class. So let's give her a great welcome, please. I'm gonna tell you, it can be a trip, get ready to do your thing in front of people you've never met before. You know it's yourself. Believe me, I've been there a lot, so it means a lot to get acknowledged. And this is going to be a good one to play with.
Well, I thought maybe you'd like to sing. You up for it? English people sing. So I was relying on the fact that you wouldn't have so many cultural inhibitions as English people. Especially course lovers. So, and also I wanted to sing this song because this was my original connection with the Course in Miracles, which was reading Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love. And then her very famous quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, our deepest fear is we're powerful beyond measure." It was very moving, and so I crammed it into a song. And so the chorus is brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. So I invite you to sing it, and I'll sing you the tune. It goes, brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. 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 Great, so that's 3 times, right? And the first time that I sing it is actually part of a verse, so don't be fooled. You'll get it. So here we go. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Here we go. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Very good. Actually, who you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking, so that other people won't feel insecure. We were all meant to shine like children do. They know they're brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Wish I know. Wish I know. Wish I know. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone, everyone, everyone. To be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence liberates others to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Wish I know. Wish I know. Wish I know. Last time. To be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous.
Yeah.
All right.
There you are.
Let's test her ability to receive and give it to her one more time.
Bring that voice to America.
So, like I said, she got some incredible tunes on her website, BarbaraJHunt.com. Absolutely.
That's a free download, that one, if you want it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, now, I'm going to cut this off, and then Sheila's going to come to make a quick announcement. Then we're going to head out into the lab. Those of you out there in internet land, I want you to know I appreciate all the response that I've been getting from you, and appreciate you. And I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions, and you can find out more about those on our website, earlpurdy.com. May the chorus be with you.
Barbara, what is your